to talk to you about using the device the first time. Because this is a free weight squat platform, there is some setup needed. You know, you'll probably have to take 1 or 2 minutes to figure out what size belt to use and how many carabiners. First of all, when you receive the device, you're going to receive 2 belts. One that's long for taller athletes, and one that's a little shorter to accommodate smaller athletes. First thing you do is you want to be right in the middle of the loading pin. You have to be at least an inch short to allow you, once you hook, for the weight to come up off the loading racks. There is a limitation with this. If I'm more than 5 inches short, the loading pin is actually going to come out of the cylinder and off the guide rod. So let me just show you real quickly. At the top of my squat, I'm about 4 or 5 inches short, which is great. Which is a great setup for me. So I'm using a small belt and 1 carabiner. So when I hook, I stand up. The weight comes up off the loading tracks, and I can release the weight with this simple movement. I push the handles a little bit forward and turn them out. The weight is released, and I'm ready to squat. So there it is. Again, you need to figure out what attachment works for you. You want to be at least an inch short at the minimum, and you can go up to a maximum of 4 inches. For a taller athlete that's 6'5", 6'6", they may need to use the larger belt and 2 carabiners, so that when they stand up at the top of their squat, you know, they're 4 inches short to allow them to use the complete length of the guide rod. What's great about our platform is it comes with a built-in box squat seat. So this seat is fully adjustable from 11 to 18 inches. Let me just show you it in action and show you why we love it here at the gym. So my normal setup, once I'm set up, I have the box set. I have the box set for me to ensure that I get proper depth. Let me show you the use. What we find great about this built-in box is not only can we do box squats on it, what's great in our gym, we deal with a lot of high school athletes, is it serves a dual purpose in our gym. By having a box back there, not only do we ensure that the athlete's getting to the proper depth on their squat, it also is a safety feature. So let me show you. If I'm doing touch and goes in the gym, the athlete knows that they're getting a parallel because the box is there. However, if they're really pushing the weight and they're unable to get out of the bottom of their squat, they're able to sit right on the box, call the coach over, we help them get the weight up, and there's not a safety issue. We talked about earlier the need at the top of your squat that you want to be at least an inch short. So in this case, if I'm a 5'1" gymnast, and when I hook on, because there's no distance, it's not short an inch. When I hook on, I'm unable to bring the weight up off the loading pin to release the weight. So what we've built in with the machine is, so this can accommodate your shorter athletes, we include 3-inch risers. Let me just show you how to use these risers real quickly. As you see, the risers go right on the platform. And now, with the 3-inch risers, you can see I'm a couple inches short. I'm about 3 inches short from the loading pin at the top of my squat. So this will allow me to hook, and now when I stand up, the weight comes up off the loading tracks, and I can release the weight. So this is how you would make an adjustment for a shorter athlete. Why we find this our belt squat platform so much more effective and more useful than other belt squats in the market is, first of all, the size of it. You're looking at only a 4x4 foot platform. It weighs about 250 pounds. It's not taking a lot of your precious real estate up in your gym. Also, because everything's removable, you got these removable rails that pop right off. And the box is removable with this quick release pin. What you're left with is a 4x4 platform. So in a busy high school gym, when you're not using it for squats, you have a perfect platform where 4 athletes can be doing single leg work, maybe step ups. Maybe you have athletes doing Bulgarian squats. You could have I have 4 athletes in my gym at the time that are able to do Bulgarian squats. Obviously you can do push-ups, incline push-ups. So in terms of use, it's a multi-purpose piece of equipment. What's amazing about it, again, it's only 4x4 feet, but it has so many uses. What's been great about the platform working with some of our professional athletes is because it's a platform that's so stable in its use. We have found that what our athletes really like and we're getting a lot of performance from is there's a couple different things. Where I put my foot placement, the more I go a little bit forward, have my heels a little bit towards the front, it gives me more posterior chain. So the athletes are going to feel it more in their hamstrings and their glutes. Obviously, a neutral position is kind of quad and hamstring, and back a little farther makes it more of a quad workout. But what we're loving in the gym is, because you're so balanced here, unlike other models out there, pulley systems, where you're fighting for your balance, everything's perfectly centered here. So what our athletes are loving, even the athletes with some back issues, is they're able to have a little bit of upper body stimulus added. The one we really like, especially some of my major league athletes, major league baseball players that love feeling like they're doing a back squat, we love this version. You can do this holding a dumbbell or bar, but we love adding a little bit of stimulus. Obviously a 40-pound chain lets the athlete feel like they're doing a back squat. It keeps their posture upright like they're doing a squat. And we found that you actually get a lot of core because you have a pull from the lower body and then you have that stimulus up top. So something simple as this has been a big hit in our gym. You could, like I said, you could do this holding a dumbbell, a certain kind of bar, but we love chains, especially with our athletes that have shoulder issues, our baseball players. They don't have to get way back there like holding a bar, but they still have that good back squat positioning. So I just want to talk a little bit about releasing the arms. If you're having problems releasing the arms, remember, especially when it's brand new, when you first start using it till it gets broken in, you want to push the handles a little bit forward, then turn out. And to lock it, push them a little bit forward, then close them in. Just want to talk about the situation if you have a toe athlete or the setup's incorrect, and you actually have the weight floating outside the cylinder off the guide rod. What this means is, in the initial setup with the carabiner, the athlete was more than 5 inches from the top of their squat. So the workaround to correct this activity is for this toe athlete would just get a second carabiner, and the use of a second carabiner would now close the distance that you're a couple inches short, that you're staying on the guide rod. So that's very important if you're coming out of the cylinder. I have another section in our video where we talked about foot placement, but just from a troubleshooting perspective, if the weight is sitting way back against the guide rod and it's awkward to go down, or it's way forward, remember, the perfect foot placement is for the middle of your shoe to be even with the loading pin. A little bit forward is great because it gets more posterior chain, and a little bit back gets more quadricep. But just keep that in mind. If you don't like the way the loading pin's moving against the guide rod, it's most likely a foot placement issue. Just want to talk about adjusting the seat. It's set up for the pin, the quick release pin, to be hooked up down the bottom. So this seat was built to be 11 to 17 inches, adjustable from 11 to 17 inches. But a lot of our gyms, especially busy high schools or places where you're trying to move the seat up and down, this is a good workaround. You can hook the release pin up top. It's a little easier to get to. And what this also will do for you, you have another inch or two to play with. So the seat now can be adjusted up to 18 inches, which may be important for for basketball teams and programs that are working with taller athletes. I just want to talk about maintenance of the platform. Fortunately, there's not much to maintain. There's not that many movable parts. Again, this isn't a machine. What I do periodically is I'll use a little WD-40 and I'll squirt a little bit into the loading pin, put a little bit of WD-40 on the guide rod, just so that I have smoothness there when the athlete's squatting. The only other area that I maintain is the release arms to release the weight. Again, I'll put a little WD-40 around the hinges, the movable parts, right here and here. And really, I do very little maintenance. Maybe I use WD-40 every couple months. Obviously, if you're in a gym where there's a lot of humidity, you might want to lubricate a little bit more frequently.